Let's turn our attention to this story now. The South African Human Rights Commission will release their findings today into the pollution of the Vaal River here in Gauteng. In 2018, you'll remember that the Commission of Inquiry, or rather the Human Rights Commission, launched an inquiry after complaints of sewage spills in the dam. Now, the community in the Vaal has had to endure the stench of sewage water flowing down their roads and into their yards for years. Heavy rain recently filled the Vaal Dam to capacity, but that did not alleviate the problem. Well, for more on the pollution of the Vaal River and the suffering of residents in the Vaal, we speak now to our reporter, Linda Mnisi. Linda, very good morning to you. It's not a pretty sight. I can imagine with the heavy rains now, the understanding is that this situation probably would have worsened with people seeing yet more sewage water flowing into their yards.
Absolutely, Xoli. And here you'll remember that the Vaal Dam, or the Vaal River system in its entirety, supplies Gauteng residents with water. So it's not an issue of this water, or rather sewage spillage, affecting only Vaal residents, but the entire Gauteng. I mean, the alarms were raised by residents. They were also raised by some of the organizations. But it's also quite important because this also speaks about the basic right to clean water. And this is where the Commission comes in. It says it wants to probe whether there's been an infringement on the rights of residents in the province, given the fact that this has been going on for years. Also, in the context of the municipality in Mfuleni.
Linda, of course, the army, we have seen them going there to try and help with that situation. Has that helped in any way, or does the problem persist? And importantly, what can we expect from the findings of the Human Rights Commission?
I mean, if you remember, not so long ago, just last week, the COCTA MEC releasing some of the updates in terms of what they've been doing in the municipality. And they did touch on the Vaal River, saying that, well, they have, equipped the municipality with trucks that will unblock the sewage. And that is expected to cost around 14 million rand, saying that is the intervention that they're putting into that municipality. But you'll also remember that just last year, one of the integral organizations that were responsible for raising the alarm, and that is constantly on government's neck when it comes to this issue, the Save Vaal, saying that this issue is quite persistent. It's been years. The municipality has been under administration since 2018. We've also seen administrators being changed, but also the Commission has been also running this inquiry since 2018. In 2020, there was an issue really around the lockdown. So it is going to be quite interesting to see what the implementations are. But we also understand, Xoli, that a provisional report was released last year, which was handed, or rather in 2019, which was handed to the implicated parties.
Yeah. And do we remember the findings of that interim report?
Well, that report was only given to the implicated parties, and today what we're going to hear is exactly the extent of the damage and who really is responsible, and whether government is, of course, infringing on the rights of citizens.
And when can we expect the Commission to start addressing you, the media, about its findings?
Well, they have a whole plan laid out for today, so everything starts from around 9 o'clock, but also they have a webinar that's scheduled for 10 o'clock. And of course, later on, they'll be going to assess the, water treatment plants in the area. You'll remember that those were dilapidated, and the treatment of the water in the municipality couldn't be done because of the dilapidated status of those, plants.
Linda Mnisi, this is it's a human rights issue, which is why the Human Rights Commission is actually getting involved, because when human health gets affected, and it's not by their own doing, but by the state, surely bodies like the Human Rights Commission must step in, and rightly so. So we're going to hear from you a little later about the findings of what the Human Rights Commission has uncovered here. Thank you very much for the time being.